Hi, my name is Jose Tello Fragoso, and I'm a student from Tec Milenio Campus Veracruz. This is my evidence number 3, option 1, which is named From the Socialist Group to the Digital Era. Here we have a list of events of the last decade from the crisis of the socialist group to the digital era. Let's begin with the first one. Begin of revolutionary events in Poland. Date 1988. They were a series of strikes and civil movements that began to put pressure on the need for political change, which gained more ground in 1989 because there was a call for elections putting an end to more than 40 years of communist government. Our next event was the Berlin Wall fall. It was in November 9 of 1989. In 1961, the GDR decided to build a wall to close 69 out of 81 control points that divided the city of Berlin. The East German government announced the free travel between East and West part. The next event was the Persian Gulf War that occurred in October 2nd of 1990. Iraq troops crossed the border with Kuwait and rapidly got control of the small country. Then the NATO, or the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, recognized it as an unnecessary military movement and created a plan of 34 countries led by the United States against Iraq. Our next event is a terrorism one. We go to the World Trade Center bombing on February 26 of 1993. At 12:18 p.m., a 1,200-pound bomb exploded inside of a Ryder truck parked on the second subterranean of the World Trade Center, killing 6 people and injuring more than 1,000 in the United States. We're missing 2 more events, and in my opinion, one of the most relevant ones for our society. First, we go with the internet. In 1993, the World Wide Web was officially released as public. They first started hosting newsgroups and file download servers. People started using internet to search for jobs, buy things online, and have discussion forums. Our next event is the 9/11 terrorist attacks to the United States. It was on September 11, as its name says, 9/11 of 2001. Terrorist attacks that started at 8:46 a.m. by an airplane crash in the World Trade Center's North Tower, one of the Twin Towers. At 9:03 a.m., a second airplane crashed on the other Twin Tower. At 9:40 a.m., a third flight crashed, but now into the Pentagon. Nearly 3,000 people died and was the biggest attack to the United States after Pearl Harbor. It is believed that there was gonna be a 4 airplane crash into the White House, but that never happened because airplanes canceled all of their flights that day. Now, let's go and review some important terms that go related with these events. There are 4 of them. The first one is unipolar world. Unipolarism is the concentration of power in one single polar, the United States of America. In its most strict sense, this does not mean that the new superpower has absolute power over the entire world, but that it is considered as a major player in international affairs. The second term is globalization. Is the word used to describe the growing interdependence of the world's economies, cultures, and populations, brought about by cross-border trade in goods and services, technology and flows of investment, people and information. Improved transport, making global travel easier. For example, there has been a rapid growth in air travel, enabling greater movement of people and goods across the globe. This reduced the cost of intermodal transport, making trade cheaper and more efficient. Just a quick relation between these terms and events are that the unipolar world goes with the Persian Gulf War, where the United States entered in that war against Iraq as a main leader to attack them. And the globalization goes directly with the creation of the internet. Because of the internet, now we are completely connected with almost all of the parts of the world. This means we can trade with them in an easier way, kind of buying things on internet like Amazon, eBay, or stuff you like on the internet. And this makes the globalization a great part of our society. Obviously, with the respective technology, just like the internet. Our next terms are the terrorism and digital era. Terrorism is the systematic use of violence to create a general climate of fear in a population and thereby to bring about a particular political objective. Terrorism has been practiced by political organizations with both rightist and leftist objectives, by nationalistic and religious groups, by revolutionaries, and even by state institutions such as armies, intelligence service, and police. The digital era is characterized by technology which increases the speed of breadth of knowledge turnover within the economy and society. The digital era goes by the hand with globalization and the creation of the internet. Because of the new technologies, people are more used to people are more used to use internet to make their daily life as we already know. And finally, with the terms, the terrorism is completely related with the World Trade Center bombing and the 9/11 airplanes crash. These catastrophic events were made by the Islam, which in those times were at completely war against the United States. And well, to finish, we have some guide questions so you can relate more with these topics. The first one goes, why did the globalization emerge? Well, it was introduced to promote inherent wealth among all countries in the world. The United States has been identified as the leader in globalization after World War II. The second question is, in most cases, what caused the terrorist attacks of the 20th century? When we see terrorism or terrorists, we instantly think on Iraq, Iran, and the Islam against the United States. But in the 20th century, terrorist attacks started in Ireland, when the governments of the Occidental cultures started to change into more radical governments trying to impose their religion. Another question we have, and in my opinion is one of the most interesting ones, is how does the end of the Cold War relate with the unipolar world? Well, the Cold War was a political, social, military, and economic battle between the biggest world powers. It ended with the superiority of the United States among Russia and with the fall of socialism in Russia, crowning the United States as the biggest power and influential country in the world. This doesn't mean the United States rules all of the world, but if you pay a little bit of attention in your daily life, everything has to be with the United States thanks to the globalization and to the enormous power they have as the biggest powerful country in the world. And to finish, there we go with our last question. How has the digital era influenced today's society? Well, because of Cold War, governments started to invest a lot more in new technology and ways of being more powerful than their adversaries. With the technology improvements, societies started to get more comfortable with the benefits of having technology in their daily lives. And now to finish, we just have some bibliography where I got a little bit of information, and we can say that it might not be a big or large topic, but in my opinion, it was very interesting because of the interaction we have in our world. We can see how mostly everything is related with globalization and unipolarism, and everything on our daily lives. If we pay a little bit of attention, we can see that the United States almost go has influence on everything we know.